To me, 2022 is the best year for movies this decade. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. Today I'm giving you my top 10 favorite movies of the year 2022. Before I give you guys my list though, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your favorite movies of the year. What do you think of my list? Let me know that as well. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified for my future reviews, reactions, rankings, all that good stuff. I also want to preface by saying I've seen about 36 movies this year, which is definitely less than I watched last year. I haven't seen every movie that I would have liked to before making this. Again, these are just my favorites and I have a few honorable mentions and I'll go ahead and rattle those off. I want to shout out Uncharted because I feel like the movie doesn't get enough love. It is not perfect by any means, but I thought it was fun. We got The Adam Project on Netflix, a movie that I watched one time, went back and rewatched and enjoyed a lot more. There's so much heart to that movie. And of course, Ambulance, a movie that I had no expectations for. And if you watched my Spider-Man No Way Home theater vlog, I literally said no one's going to show up to this movie opening night. I was wrong. It's a very fun movie. It's one of the better Michael Bay movies that I've seen. But kicking off my top 10, at number 10 is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, the only MCU entry on this list and the best MCU movie of 2022 in my opinion. I still don't adore this movie the way I really wanted to, but I really have to tip my hat to the MCU for pulling this movie off, especially after the passing of Chadwick Boseman. It does a great job of reflecting on his life and continuing that legacy in a respectful way, while also giving us one of the better MCU villains, at least in Phase 4. The performances here were fantastic. Angela Bassett might even get an Oscar nomination for her performance. I loved the score just like in the first Black Panther, and the lore and world building here were fantastic. That's always been a strong suit of Black Panther, is Wakanda and this whole world. Well, this movie dropped us right back in that wonderful world and built even more upon what was started in the first movie. It's an emotional movie for sure. I do think it overextended its stay a bit, but it comes in at number 10. Now, number 9 on my list is going to be Don't Worry Darling, a movie that got bashed by a lot of people who watched it. I personally really enjoyed this one. It was thrilling from start to finish. I thought Florence Pugh carried this movie on her back. She's probably my favorite actress right now if I really had to sit down and make a list. She kills it here. And I think Harry Styles deserves more credit than he gets because no one's going to go toe-to-toe with Florence Pugh, really. As far as modern day thrillers go, this one had a really solid twist. It got me. I didn't see it coming. So despite the fact that this movie was destined to fail based on all the behind-the-scenes drama, I really ended up liking Don't Worry Darling. But coming in at number 8 for me is Fresh, the movie that went straight to Hulu with Sebastian Stan, a movie that disturbed me to my core because it is about a cannibal. Sebastian Stan is terrifyingly good in this. I mean, he goes off the rails here, and Sebastian Stan loves to have fun in those roles where he can go a little cuckoo, and he is full-on cannibal in this movie. It takes its time in the first 30 minutes building up to that title card, but the opening of this movie really allows the audience to feel like we're Daisy Edgar Jones, getting to know Sebastian Stan's character, feeling uncomfortable by these little things that he does, and then ultimately we see what happens in the movie, and whew. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. There's some truly disturbing things in this movie, but it is thrilling. The last act is insane, literally. Give it a watch if you like horror. Number 7 on my list is Violent Night, a new holiday hit in my opinion. I've watched this movie twice, and I can't wait to watch it again next December. David Harbour plays Santa Claus. He's chugging beers. He's kicking ass. What more could I ask for, especially to watch in December? Sure, the supporting characters, like the family, they're not the best characters. I really don't care about them as much as I would like to. But what I do love is a Viking Santa Claus who is destroying people with a hammer while he uses a candy cane as a shank. I could watch a whole franchise of David Harbour playing Santa Claus. And Violent Night is a nice little change of pace from a regular Christmas movie. It's a full-on action, violent film, and I dug it. It's an on-the-nose ripoff of Die Hard, but you love it because it's self-aware of that. It literally references it in the movie, and it pays homage to Home Alone really well, two of my favorite Christmas movies, so gotta love Violent Night. Number 6 on my list is Everything Everywhere All at Once, a movie that I've only seen one time way back in April in theaters, and I remember really enjoying it. I didn't get the chance to rewatch it before filming this video, so it might have gone higher. I was very high on this movie though. I remember, you know, it created its own genre essentially. It was this multiversal story, and the way that the Daniels pulled that concept off is one of the most unique we've seen and arguably the most effective multiversal thing we've ever seen on the big screen. The movie's action-packed, but there's a lot of heart to it. There are moments where you'll tear up in the theater, but I do remember it being very eccentric as well. There are just out there moments that are like, what the hell is happening here? But it somehow felt so human at the same time, and it was able to blend all of these genres together to make for a very impactful story about family and really kind of realizing who's most important in your life and valuing what you have as opposed to thinking about what you wish you could have had in another life. My number 5 is Bullet Train, a movie that I slept on so hard, and I eventually watched it on a plane and then watched it again that same weekend. Brad Pitt plays the character of Ladybug, who just keeps getting lucky and doesn't even want to get into these physical altercations, but he always ends up killing people and he's like, damn it, and it's just hilarious to see that. But the scene stealers here are Lemon and Tangerine, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry. They carry this movie. Their comedic chemistry, unmatched. I mean, they're hilarious, cracking jokes, kicking ass on this train. It's a very highly stylized action movie with a lot of over-the-top violence, but the plot itself is really intriguing. I love a good one-location type movie where everyone's after a certain object or somebody, and that's essentially what Bullet Train is. I dig it. I can't believe I didn't see this one in theaters. One of my bigger regrets of the year. There's some epic cameos here that really just caught me off guard, and it comes full circle in the end. There's also a post-credit scene that I missed the first time I watched it. It adds a whole new layer to this movie, and I love Bullet Train. Number 4 on my list is Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery, another damn great murder mystery from Rian Johnson. In my opinion, it's not as good as the first Knives Out, but it still is a solid follow-up. What I love about this movie is how unpredictable it is. The first Knives Out, you can kind of put some of those pieces of the puzzle together along the way. This one, however, to me, really shook me. I was like, this is really clever, you know? I didn't know where the hell it was going for the first 45 or so minutes, then it makes a decision, and it flips everything we'd seen on its head, and we get to watch everything play out through a different perspective. Edward Norton gets to go batshit crazy in this movie. Daniel Craig kills it yet again as Benoit Blanc. The humor really works in this movie, and the cast all around is great. I love how it pokes fun at various positions of power across the world, and how a lot of people in higher up positions, whether that's politics, social media influencers, billionaires in general, like, there's so much corruption in the world, and people will do whatever it takes to keep their name out of it. We need a Knives Out 3, and I can't wait to see who the cast is for it. But moving on to my number 3 favorite movie of the year, that is going to be Babylon, a movie that is just super divisive. I mean, I dig the hell out of this movie. In my review, I said it's basically a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood epic with elements of Boogie Nights, and a lot of people say Wolf of Wall Street, and I totally see that as well. Is it a movie that's chaotic from start to finish? Absolutely. But the movie's very effective at showing the rise and fall of various stars in Hollywood, and also just chronicling the chaotic nature of this time period, transitioning from silent films to talkies. It was such an immersive story. From the opening party scene, I was like, this is something I can't look away from, and I need more of it. We had Brad Pitt as the sort of veteran actor doing like his Rick Dalton thing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, showing up drunk to movies. I mean, the movie's hysterical at times, and the movie really succeeds at sort of condemning this dark and gross side of Hollywood that's sort of glamorized nowadays, but there's really some disgusting things that go on behind the scenes, at least back in the day, and still, unfortunately. But the movie simultaneously shows a deep appreciation for movies, the magic of movie making, and how impactful cinema really is to everybody, including me, you, everyone watching it. Movies are just the best. I truly don't get the hate for Babylon. It's not my favorite Damien Chazelle movie, but it's one of those movies about making movies that feels epic, just like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So this was right up my alley. There's no denying that it bombed at the box office, which was a bummer to see, but this movie probably shouldn't have come out alongside Avatar: The Way of Water, which is not in my top 10. And just like that, there were 2. My runner-up for my favorite movie of 2022 is The Batman. I saw this movie 3 times in theaters, and I can say right now that it is the definitive Batman movie in my eyes, my personal favorite Batman movie, and I'm representing it right here in the backdrop. I grew up loving Batman, you know, the Dark Knight trilogy, but the Arkham games were something that I really would just get entranced in. I remember playing some of them to 100%, going on these quests for the Riddler trophies, just spending so much time in the dark and gritty Gotham City, and this movie brought that to life, and it is perfect in my opinion. I mean, Robert Pattinson, amazing as Batman and Bruce Wayne. The moment he walks out in the beginning and kicks ass, you hear I'm Vengeance on the big screen. I knew we were in for something special, and Matt Reeves brought his A game in this detective epic thriller movie that I can't get enough of. The chemistry between Gordon and Batman was elite. Seeing Jeffrey Wright step into that role, he was so damn cool. It actually felt like Batman had a partner in this movie. Paul Dano as the Riddler was creepy and just, gave me the ick every time he spoke. But the 3-hour runtime really worked for me because I was fully invested in this mystery. The movie had horror elements at times. It broke free from the comic book movie mold. It's a perfect movie. But my number 1 favorite movie of 2022 should really come as no surprise. That's Top Gun: Maverick. This was the movie of the year in my opinion. A box office smash hit. Maybe the definitive summer movie. Like anytime May rolls around, I'm gonna want to throw on Top Gun: Maverick. Any time of day, I'll throw on Top Gun: Maverick. I gotta represent. These are my top 2 movies right here, you already know. But I don't think anyone expected Top Gun: Maverick to come out and be as big of a hit as it was. We just don't get these practical effects blockbusters on the big screen anymore. Oftentimes a lot of stuff CGI, and this movie fully embraced the training behind the scenes. All of the actors learned how to fly jets, and that really immersed me into the movie. I saw this in IMAX for the first time. I felt like I was in one of these cockpits flying with these dudes. Top Gun: Maverick's a perfect legacy sequel as it pays homage to, you know, Goose and different characters, and there's a lot of callbacks to the original Top Gun. There's a great moment with Iceman that, I mean, always gets the tears swelling. It reuses songs from the first movie. Again, it knows its roots, but it creates its own new story with Rooster and the new guys and Hangman entertaining, man. It's that action spectacle that we all crave on the big screen nowadays. But there's a great story in here with ideas of forgiveness, making amends, and it's just so damn good. I could sit here and gush about Top Gun Maverick till the end of time. 20, 30 years from now, people will talk about when they saw Top Gun Maverick in theaters. It's just one of those all-timers. It's really a special feeling knowing that we witnessed an all-time great movie in our lives as it came out in May of 2022. Top Gun Maverick is my favorite movie of 2022, and I also believe it is the definitive movie of 2022. But what is your favorite movie of the year? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for all of my future reviews, reactions, rankings, and all that good stuff. I thought it was an incredible year for movies. You know, I didn't see as much as I would have liked this year. That just kind of happens. I watched loads of TV shows this year, so if you want to see my top 10 favorite TV shows, you can check that out linked up above. But it was a great year for movies, and my top 3 are all 5 out of 5s in my mind. But thank you guys again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.